Happy Monday, Farmdale Foxes. It is September 25th, the last full week of September, and then next week we're going to roll right into October. So let's go ahead and jump into our announcements for the week. Our character word of the month is responsibility. And remember, responsibility is about doing the things that we are supposed to do and accepting the positive or negative outcomes of our actions. So I want to be specific on this because there's times where we're not perfect and we make mistakes. But if you do make a mistake or you make a poor choice, part of being responsible is owning up to it and having the courage to say, I messed up, I'm sorry. So that's what responsibility is taking credit for what you've done and accepting the outcome of what happens. Our character strategy of the month is to ask permission to do something. So one of the things that we can do to be responsible, and if we don't know something is right or wrong, we can ask an adult, and that's asking permission. It's still Hispanic Heritage Month. Remember, that starts on September 15th and ends on October 15th. And one Latino I would like to feature today is astronaut Jose Hernandez. Jose Hernandez was the son of migrant farm workers, which means he grew up harvesting fruits and vegetables in the fields all around the United States. His family finally settled down in Stockton, California, which is not far from us, and he was able to focus on his studies. When he was in school, he was an English language learner, and he didn't learn how to speak English until he was about 12 years old. He knew what his goal was. He knew he wanted to be an astronaut, and everything that he did in school was to prepare him for that. It wasn't an easy journey for him. He applied to join NASA 12 times, and 11 times he was rejected. They told him no. He could have gave up on the first few tries, but he didn't. He kept on working. He kept on improving himself. And finally, on the 12th time that he applied, they said yes. So he became the third Latino in history to travel to space. This story is an inspiration to many people, including myself, because I also come from a family of migrant farm workers, so the story really spoke to me. If you would like to learn more about Jose Hernandez, there's a new movie out on Amazon that features his life, so you could check it out. It's called A Million Miles Away, and it's a great movie to watch with your family, and I highly recommend it. Miss Brenda's activities are back, so for first, second, and third grade, you can play catch a cup, and for fourth and fifth grade, we're going to have the giant Connect Four out there, so go ahead and look for Miss Brenda when you're out there on the playground. We have cross-country practice this week. This week, you will have practice on Tuesday and Thursday. If you are going to miss, be sure to let Miss Gomez know. That's part of being responsible, is to let your coach know if you're going to miss practice. Also, cross-country runners, remember, you are on a behavior contract. If you are not living the creed, you are not going to be able to participate in cross-country. You are an example to others, so show us that you are amazing foxes that are going to represent Farmdale well. Don't forget, on Wednesday is a minimum day. We have a minimum day this week on Wednesday, so be sure to let your family know that Wednesday we get out at 1:30 and it's a minimum day. I said that 3 times, so hopefully we remember. On Thursday, we have a student council meeting in the library. All class representatives and members of the executive board are invited to the library at 8 a.m. for their student council meeting. This is the new announcements, Farmdale's art contest. Do you love to draw? Do you love to paint? Do you love everything about art? Well, this is the contest that is for you. Design any piece of art, turn it in to Miss Cecil's room in room 32 by October 12th. So you have some time to work on this, so take your time. So there is a paper in the office where you can turn in your form and write your name on it, and the winners will be announced on October 13th. There are prizes. First place gets a $25 gift card. Second place, $15. Third place, $10. So we can't wait to see what creative pieces of art you bring. This isn't something that you have to rush through and do real fast. You have time. So take your time, make something special, and let's see what you've got. We're leaving this in here for another week. Playground equipment. Make sure to pick up the equipment before returning to class. This has been an issue, especially on Wednesdays, minimum days with 5th grade. The bell does ring a little bit earlier on Wednesdays. And so 5th graders have just been leaving the equipment, going to dismissal, but we're going to ask you to make sure you pick up that equipment. Remember, it is a privilege that can be taken away. We want to make sure to have all those things out there, so be sure to pick up all of the equipment at the end of your recess. Soccer is going to be available only to 3rd or 5th grade students. Remember, 5th grade, you need to wait until 4th grade is done. You have not earned the entire privilege back. We do have 4 students sitting out soccer this week, so hopefully after this week, they're making better choices and we can get everybody on the field. Again, here are some basic rules to follow. Set up boundaries before you start. Remember, only half a field is allowed, so make sure that you are picking half a field. Pick 2 teams. Don't hang on the goalpost. No slides, tackles, or elbows, and if it's out of bounds, that's the only time you can touch the ball to throw in. You must be sure to wear your shoes, and only the goalie should be standing in the goal. We shouldn't have multiple students standing in the goal because the ball is aiming for the goal. So if you are hanging out in the goal, you might get hit with the ball. And also, no touching the ball with your hands unless you're the goalie or unless you're throwing it in. The final cast list for Moana has been posted in the window in Fox Support, so congratulations to the cast of Moana. Make sure you pick up your information packet from Fox Support. Miss Maria has them there. And don't forget to remind your parents that there is a mandatory parent meeting at the Pioneer Cafeteria at 7 p.m. Your paper says 6 p.m., but they just changed it to 7 p.m. in the cafeteria because the library is not going to be able to fit everyone. So remember, 7 o'clock in the cafeteria at Pioneer. We had one positive office referral this week, and that's for Nova in Miss Wally's class. He earned a positive office referral for telling the truth and doing the right thing, even when others told him not to. And this is one thing we know about Nova, is that he has a heart of gold, and he always does what's right. So thank you very much, Nova. The clock is ticking for Live the Creed. Pretty soon, we're going to get to our first Live the Creed celebration. Remember, our goal is 7 certificates, but if you get to 7, don't stop. Keep going. Let's see who can get the most. If you want to pause the video right now and see where your class stands, you can see where everybody's at. We have some classes that have 6 certificates already, and those classes are Miss Andrews, Miss Birnbaum, Miss Carlos, Mr. Downey, and we have Mr. Magana, Miss Newville, Miss Vargas, and Miss Vu, all with 6, so they just need 1 more. Everyone else, we're going to make sure that we work hard to get all those letters to get up to 7 certificates. Next up, I have a short video from the district that I'm going to play for you, and it's called What If We Thought of School Differently? So the main message to take from that video is not to forget, number 1, if you're not in school, you can miss out on some awesome experiences. Number 2, when you miss school, you take away from your own personal growth and achievement. Remember, you could have been a top fox, but you missed that day where you could have read that final book to get those AR points. So remember to be in school. You don't want to miss out on opportunities to celebrate yourself. And number 3, remember, everyone at Weaver Union School District is cheering you on to have a great school experience and a successful life. Speaking of attendance, we still have 4th grade in the lead. We had slight dips in all grade levels, so we had some students that were absent here and there, with the exception of 5th grade. They had a slight gain, so they are so close to taking the lead back. Let's see if 5th grade can do it. And again, we had another great week of attendance. We still had over 740 students here on time with perfect attendance last week. For this week, let's aim to have more than 750 students here with perfect attendance. So here's our perfect attendance winners for the week of September 18th. For TK, we had 24 students with perfect attendance. Remember, there's only 2 classes. So we have Avery from our morning TK class, and we have Eliana from our afternoon TK class. For kinder, we have Emmanuel in Miss Ellison's class and Emily from Miss Ellison's class. It looks like Miss Ellison's class took a sweep this week. In 1st grade, we had 112 total students, and our winners are Bobby in Miss Sagehow's class and Major in Miss Carlos's class. In 2nd grade, we had 133 students with perfect attendance, but our 2 winners were Mason S. from Miss Newville's class and Dylan B. from Miss Gunn's class. In 3rd grade, we had 110 students with perfect attendance, and the winners were Alana from Miss Camp's class and Jeffrey from Miss Charo's class. In fourth grade, we had 127 students with perfect attendance, and the winners were Timothy from Miss Johnson's class and Aranza from Miss Ward's class. And in fifth grade, and I'm telling you, fifth grade is in it to win it because they had 152 students here with perfect attendance last week. But our two winners were Oliver in Miss Hoag's class and Roy in Miss Hoag's class. So congratulations to all of our winners. We have your tickets ready. We'll be delivering them this morning, and you'll get your ice cream treat at lunchtime. You just walk right up to the front, ring the bell, and they'll have your ice cream ready for you. As Attendance Awareness Month comes to a close, we do have a survey that we would like parents to fill out, and I'm sending that out on Parent Square today at 3 o'clock. So when you get home, ask your parents if they got the Parent Square survey. If it's not 3 o'clock yet, wait until 3 o'clock. And if they complete the survey, you will be entered in a raffle to win a prize. So let's just say you have a brother and sister here, so there's 3 of you, then your parents can fill out the survey 3 times. Just make sure they put like your name, your brother's name, and your sister's name on each survey that they fill out. And the deadline will be on Wednesday. So I'm going to send out an announcement today, and I'll send out an announcement on Wednesday morning for the attendance survey. So make sure they get that done. Now we're moving on to shout-outs. Miss Van Cleve has 3 students in her class, Elsa, Delesa, and Enrique, and they are getting 100% in AR with 70% or better accuracy. So Mrs. Van Cleve is very proud of you, and so are all of us. That's a big deal. Mrs. Vu has a few shout-outs. She has a few students in her class, Paisley, Ava, Michelle, and Elizabeth, who have already met their AR goal, and then their reflex math goal. She has Ethan, Josie, and Valeria, who have met their reflex math goal. They are all working hard to be top box, so they have a few weeks to make sure that they have both AR and reflex math. Miss Cecil also has a shout out. Angel, Andres, Robert, Andres, Aaliyah, Lincoln, and Jaime from Miss Cecil's class all have reached their trimester reflex math goal of 40%. So great job, Foxes, and keep working hard. We also have a shout out from Miss Ingram's class. They went to the Chaffee Zoo, and 2 of the workers at the zoo said that the class was well behaved, inquisitive, and attentive. So great job, Foxes, in Miss Ingram's class. Mrs. Vu's class also went to the Chaffee Zoo, and she was able to share these pictures with us. So great job, Mrs. Vu's class. And these pictures were shared by Mrs. Mua to show the amazing things that the 2nd graders saw at the zoo. This week, Miss Birnbaum, Miss Vargas, Miss Van Cleve, and Mrs. Gunn's class get to enjoy the zoo, so we can't wait to see your pictures and see how you did. For perfect attendance, we have a few shout-outs. We have Miss Newville's class, who had perfect attendance on the 18th, the 21st, and the 22nd, 3 days last week. Next up, we have Miss Gomez and Miss Lowe, who had perfect attendance on September 20th. And then we had Miss Birnbaum on September 21st. And I do know that we have 3 snow cone parties coming up this week, so we can't wait to celebrate those classes this week. And now it's time for kindness ticket winners. So let's see who our lucky winners are going to be. All right, our box is full of first trimester kindness ticket winners. And our first one is for Monica from Miss Gunn's class. Our next one I'm picking from the top. And this is for Liliana in Miss Gomez's class, 1st grade Liliana. And our last one is Isael in Miss Hoag's class. So we have Isael in Miss Hoag's class, Liliana in Miss Gomez's class, and Monica in Miss Gunn's class. Miss Philman will be by on Wednesday to deliver your prizes. And that leads me to our quote of the week. And our quote of the week is from a Latino educator named Jaime Escalante. And the quote is, "I tell my students, you do not enter the future, you create the future. The future is created through hard work." We learned about Jose Hernandez earlier in this video, and he is one of those people that created his future. When he was a young child that was working in the fields with his family, no one would have pointed him out and said, that child's going to be an astronaut. That's not the future that was made for him. It was a future that he created through his own hard work. And that's a future that you can create for yourself if that's what you set your mind to. Don't forget that if it is your birthday, to stop by the library, pick up your birthday book. Miss Molly and Miss McQuarrie would love to see you. And that's all I've got for you. So remember to have a great week, work hard, and remember, together we are Fox Strong. So let's go ahead and finish with the Fox Creed. So let's go ahead and put our foxes up. And let's say it together. Ready? To be a fox, repeat in your mind, be safe, be responsible, be respectful, and kind. Happy birthday to all the students who have a birthday this week. Bye.